Hello, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Today we're making a short video on an idea called interval notation. So you've been solving problems using absolute values and inequalities. Rather, this is true for anything regarding inequalities, but you're getting your solutions and you're writing them in what we call inequality form. So your answer might look something like this. You could say x is less than negative 2 or x is greater than 3. A standard solution within interval notation, or within inequality notation. On a number line, we'd have negative 2, 0, 3. We could graph that equation. This is what is known as the inequality notation. We're writing our solution using inequalities. Well, there is another way to write your answer, which is referred to as this interval notation. So instead of writing it as inequalities, we write it as what are the intervals or what segments of numbers could we actually use. So if we happen to be solving a problem where this was the solution, this is really saying all the numbers that are less than negative 2, so every number all the way from negative infinity all the way up to negative 2, they work. Or you can say all the numbers from positive 3 all the way up to positive infinity also work. So we could write that like such. We could say from negative infinity to negative 2, all those numbers work. All those numbers work, and as well as all the numbers from 3 up into positive infinity. And because we use this or, we have this little funky symbol. It looks like a U, really means union. But this is what we would call interval notation. It's the set of all those numbers that work. Negative infinity, negative 2, or from 3 to infinity. Let's just put another problem just to see how this works. What about if I had from x is greater than negative 5 and x is less than 4? This would be an AND problem. So again, if we put our solution on a number line, we'd have our negative 5, 0, positive 4. Let's make these equal to portions just to be a little bit different. We'd have our negative 5, our positive 4. We'd connect them too. So again, we have the inequality forms, we have the inequalities, we have them graphed. If we wanted to write them in interval notation, we'd say the numbers start at negative 5 and they go to positive 4. But this time, instead of using the parentheses like we did earlier, we're actually going to use square brackets. We're going to use square brackets. Maybe a way to think about that is you use parentheses or open circles, or open dots we'll call them. So open dots are the circles or less thans and greater thans. And when you have the closed dots or the filled in dots, that's when we're going to use the brackets. And that's when we use less than and greater than equal to. So it's a way of writing all the numbers that exist. So again, just one more example of it. We'll insert. So let's just do one more example of this. If I said I have x is less than 1, x is greater than 3, let's call this an OR. Again, on a number line. 1, 3, greater than 3, less than 1. So you have to consider what numbers actually work here. So if you're thinking of all the numbers, you're looking at all these numbers down here, from negative infinity to negative 100 to negative 10 to negative 1 to 0, all the way up to 1. All of those numbers work. So we say from negative infinity, all those numbers up until 1, because all those numbers can work, and because we have an open circle, use a parenthesis, and then again we're going to start at 3. We're going to do all of these numbers, and these numbers just keep going on and on and on, all the way to the end of the number line. We'd say those go from 3 to infinity, and because there's both of them, we use the union, that OR. So maybe kind of like the OR and the AND, if your arrows are pointing away, you're always going to have this to infinity portion. and you just have to change those middle terms. If your arrows are pointing towards each other, if they're pointing towards each other, we're just going to have two terms. We'd have to determine if they're going to be a bracket or a parenthesis. I realize that was quick, but again, if you have some more questions, please let me know. This was intended to be just sort of a crash course on using open and closed circles as far as inequalities go, or interval notation. Have a good day.